Hi everyone, my name is Fiona Edgar, and this is my weekly psychic weather forecast. I'm a karmic astrologer, a past life seer, and a tarot reader from Northern Ireland. Please check out my website www.scorpiomoonkarmicastrology.com. Okay, so today is the Monday, the 10th of December, and the moon is in Capricorn for most of the day. The energies of this transit favour hard work, structures, and success and achievement. We probably feel more motivated to reach our goals, and starting a new career or business opportunity is good at this time. We may feel more prone to depression than normal, or maybe come across as being a bit emotionally cold to others. So tonight at 23:39 UK time, this is around the dinner time in the North America, the moon moves into the rebellious sign of Aquarius. This is going to be an eventful moon because Uranus, which is the ruler of Aquarius, is finishing up in Aries, which is associated with war. Aquarius is the rebel and the freedom fighter, and we just have to look at the European yellow vest protests to see the effects of that. Excuse me. So, frankly, bring it on. The European people are sick and tired of our culture being destroyed and our rights being stripped away by the EU. It's time to get rid of them, guys. Also, connected to this, Chiron is moving into Aries in February for about 8 years. So, Chiron rules over our wounds, but also brings us healing eventually. I will talk a little bit more about that later on in this podcast. I would expect more violent uprisings throughout this time. And I don't know about you, but I would rather die as a free person than as a slave. So this is what Chiron in Aries is going to be bringing us, this fight. So also today we are under a beautiful grand trine in water signs, consisting of the North Node, the karmic North Node, Chiron and Mercury. So much healing is possible now. You may find that your relationships are more easy flowing. Old hurts and grievances are being forgotten. So tomorrow, Tuesday the 11th, the moon is in Aquarius all day. The energies of this transit favour unusual and out-of-the-box activities. It's an ideal time to spend time with friends and groups and to make plans for the future. Personal freedom is more important to us now, and we may experience issues with authority figures and rebel against structure. The Yellow Vest movement in Europe is growing. Keep an eye on it. There are local groups on Facebook that you can join for more information. Exciting times here in Europe. Our spirit is not dead yet. Today, there's also a quincunx between Mercury in Scorpio and Uranus in Aries. You may be forced to have an uncomfortable conversation with someone. It may lead to an argument, or you discover the truth about something. Don't ignore this information or try to brush it under the carpet. This is an important conversation that you will have. So on Wednesday, the 12th, Mercury moves back into Sagittarius in its direct motion. Mercury in the fire sign of Sag encourages us to think about a broad range of topics, and we become more open-minded and optimistic. We communicate with enthusiasm and we become more focused on fairness, setting our sights on a better future. Our thoughts turn towards spirituality, law, foreigners, and foreign lands. So we're also thinking about immigration and the UN Migrant Pact. During this transit, our communications with others become warmer, and we feel more comfortable with speaking from the heart and being openly affectionate. Sagittarius is an affectionate sign. But we should avoid the negative traits of Mercury in Sagittarius, such as exaggerating or speaking without thinking. Thursday, the 13th of December, the moon moves into Pisces at 12:39 p.m. This will be a very dreamy kind of day. You know, the energies of this transit favour meditation, the psychic arts, spirituality, using compassion and empathy when dealing with others, and activities associated with water. It generally is quite a good day, but it may be hard to stay grounded in reality, and it may be difficult to separate fact from fiction. On Friday the 14th, the moon remains in Pisces until 12:45 a.m. in the UK. So again, that's around dinner time in the US. We may be more prone to escapism during this transit. However, it's best to watch a movie or read a book rather than damage ourselves with alcohol or drugs. So just before the moon leaves Pisces, it does make a conjunction to Chiron. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that because Chiron is very important. So Chiron turned direct on Sunday after being retrograde for a couple of months. Chiron will enter Aries in February and stay there until 2027. So this is the final few degrees of Pisces before it leaves for Aries for good. So what is Chiron? Well, in Greek mythology, Chiron was a master healer, but he was unable to save himself from the deadly wound that he received from a poisoned arrow. So in the birth chart, the placement of Chiron, which is a minor planet, represents our most painful wound, the one that we received early in life and that we struggle to deal with. It may continue to be a sore spot. This wounding may manifest over and over again, attracting the same archetypes and situations until the native acknowledges and makes peace with the wound and banishes any person or situation from their life that is of a similar energy to the original wounding. So what that means is sometimes we attract relationships, over and over again, the same type of person, that hurts us in the same way. Like they may cheat on us, they may be abusive, they may be fickle, they may not be supportive. And really, like nearly always, this person is a reflection of our childhood in some way. So they may be a reflection of an absent parent or some other wound. So we need to investigate our childhoods to get to the source of this wounding so that we can recognize this and then banish it forever. As well as wounds, Chiron in the birth chart can indicate musical and artistic gifts and talents, healing abilities including natural medicine and energy healing, a flair for astrology, and people that have a strong Chiron usually act as a teacher or a guide for other people. The lowest frequency of a Chiron wound would be to hurt others in the same way that we ourselves were hurt. So we can work from it from a higher vibration and use it to help other people. Chiron's energy is shamanic. When I read charts, I've noticed that shamanic people always have a strong or heavily aspected Chiron. Sometimes this is placed in the 12th house, quite often actually, and this gives the person the natural ability to travel through different spiritual realms. These people can usually access past lives very easily. Myself, I have a 12th house Chiron in my own birth chart. So these people have usually suffered through long periods of physical or mental illness and had difficult childhoods, but they have always felt in tune with the spirit world, and we have always been supported by the spirit world even when we felt alone. Chiron people frequently feel alienated and shunned by society, and they can often be diagnosed with disorders like mental disorders and end up on medication. The shamanic view of some mental illness is that it can sometimes be an initiation, a soul crisis which aids spiritual development and encourages the person to surrender to the healing path and answer the call. But again, we need to be careful about this. Finding the meaning and lessons in this crisis is to unlock the cure. So what will Chiron's transit through Aries bring us? Well, Aries is ruled by Mars, which is the god of war. We can almost certainly expect more violent uprisings. I have to say, possibly war as well. I'm sorry, but this is what I see here. And this sounds scary, but it's nowhere near as terrifying as the thought of humans becoming complacent slaves. too busy staring at their smartphones than to notice what's going on around them. That is a much scarier thought to me. Okay, so back to our forecast. On Saturday, the 15th, there may be some issues to deal with because there is a difficult link between Uranus and Neptune. It may be hard to strike a balance between authority and discipline and compassion and forgiveness. You know, we've been taught to kind of always turn the other cheek and to forgive people no matter what, and I think that this is very unhealthy. Um, yeah, it's a very unhealthy mindset. So we need to stay assertive and to, basically not take any crap from other people. So early Sunday morning at around 1 a.m. UK time, that's early evening in the US, the moon moves into Aries. The energies of this transit help us to feel energized and spontaneous. It may be a good time to start new projects and to take part in sports and other activities. However, our tempers may be shorter and we may be prone to making rash decisions without thinking them through. This transit brings us clarity and we feel less emotional. There is a nice sextile today between Venus and Scorpio and Saturn and Capricorn, making our relationships more steady and running more smoothly. Our finances may be improving under this transit, but of course that depends on what's going on in our own individual charts. We all have totally different charts, and you would need a private reading to find out exactly what's going on with you. I am a karmic astrologer and tarot reader, and if you want to book a reading with me, just check out my website. Excuse me. Okay, so on to the tarot part of the reading. This is a general reading, and for predictions totally personal to you, you would need a private reading. So I pulled the Eight of Pentacles, the Ace of Rods, and the Devil. The Eight of Pentacles shows a man at work concentrating on the task at hand, and he's earning money for his family. The Ace of Rods gives us the potential for new opportunities and growth. So these two cards together could be potentially a new job, a promotion, or a good opportunity coming your way. However, the Devil here does put a spanner in the works. The card's position in this reading represents a fear holding you back from a good opportunity or a person trying to hold you back from success. Some of you may be dealing with a jealous person who doesn't want you to succeed, so please look out for that. Some of you are also dealing with health issues which you could solve yourselves, but you're lacking in the willpower department. Please remember that you need to be responsible for your own health. And it is difficult to be spiritually healthy if you're not physically healthy. Okay, that's it for this week. I do have a cold, so, forgive me for sounding a little bit muffled. So please continue to follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/Scorpio Moon Astro. You can find my regular astrology updates there. You can also contact me on my website for a private reading. I'm currently running a Christmas special. My website is www.scorpiomoonkarmicastrology.com. Okay guys, until next week. Goodbye.